Hi, shalom friends. Let me give you a fictional account. I once interviewed an elderly gentleman in his 80s. We were talking about his accomplishments and his long life and everything else. And then I just threw out randomly, sir, you've gone on many, many vacations in your life. You've been retired for over 15 years, and you must have gone on hundreds of vacations. Can you tell me which vacation that you've done, which one stands out most vividly in your memory? Now, I was expecting him to spend some time on reflection. Who knows, maybe he would even open up a book and look at pictures and remind himself. But he immediately answered, oh, that's not a question, my vacation in New York. And I say, well, what happened in your vacation in New York? You've gone to Greece, you've gone to Alaska, you've gone to all of the states, you've gone to the Ukraine, you've seen so many beautiful things, eaten so many exotic and delicious foods. What was it in New York that actually left you this powerful impression? He says, I'll tell you. I went to the Empire State Building, and I was waiting in line to go in the elevator to go to the observation deck, and suddenly in the middle of the crowd, someone began to, it looked like he fainted, and he fell on the ground. I didn't see it exactly, but people were shouting, give him air, give him air. There was a lot of confusion. Someone whipped out a phone and was dialing 911. And when I got close enough, I realized that this guy's not breathing. But because I know CPR, I actually did CPR on him, and I kept him going. It took 4 minutes before the paramedics came. I'll never forget that. So I look at him and I say, by the way, did you ever get to the observation deck? He says, are you kidding? It was just so much excitement and so much confusion. I was just happy to do what I was able to do. So I tell him, so where's the vacation? You didn't tell me about the restaurant you went to. You didn't tell me about the activities that you did. And he looks at me strangely. He says, what are you talking about? I saved someone's life. I mean, what more could you ask for? And to do it on a vacation? I'll never forget that vacation. So now, friends, let's try to analyze this together. What made this so special for him? The answer is he had a vacation that had meaning. You see, there's many things in life that we do. One of them is we have pleasure. Then there's also a state of mind called happiness. And it takes a long time for us to realize that what gives us pleasure does not always make us happy. And sometimes we could actually be in the state of happiness and though not experiencing pleasure. So pleasure and happiness, they're not exclusive, but neither are they synonymous. But I could tell you what is almost always synonymous with happiness, and that is meaning. When a person does something meaningful, when he does something productive, when it means something of great significance, it fills a person with accomplishment. It reminds him of his innate, maybe greatness or decency or humanity. And that's something that's very, very rewarding. So I want to spend the rest of the next couple of minutes talking about meaning. And that is, most of us have a routine. So whether you're going to school, or whether you're going to a profession, or perhaps you're already past professional life. We have sort of a routine, and day after day passes, and we try to fill the day with certain amount of pleasure, whether it be art, or food, or nice clothing, or just enjoying the outside. And after a while, the days seem to merge into one into another. And you sometimes hold yourself back from asking the obvious question of, why am I doing this? Or sometimes it's phrased as, how come I'm not feeling a state of happiness? And actually, the answer stares you in the face. What did you do today that will remind you that today was different than yesterday? It's not reasonable to expect uniqueness, that today you will see something you've never seen before, you'll taste something you've never tasted before, you'll read something that you never read before. But for meaning, it doesn't have to be unique. It just has to be important. So, look, I'm a rabbi, I'm talking, so I can tell you very openly, for me, the happiest day is when I have a minyan in the morning. And it's actually filled with meaning. I did my morning prayers. I did it with a group of people that I admire and that I trust and that I like. We studied a little Torah. There was camaraderie. That makes this day different than yesterday because I did it today. And it also makes it different because of this long day of many, many minutes. I dedicated 45 minutes to something noble, something beyond me, something which is not for my instant gratification, but it's something of importance to the Almighty God. And He entrusted me with this responsibility, and I fulfilled it. And I cannot ask for anything more rewarding, more meaningful, or more enjoyable, to tell you the truth. So ask yourself, you don't have to shout this from the rafters, but how can you make your day of going to work more meaningful? Is it perhaps impossible to suggest that you use some of the minutes of lunch to call up someone that you respect or that you should respect, such as parents or good friends? Would it be wrong to suggest that maybe if you could do a short prayer, something to change the humdrum, or for that matter, the Rabbi once suggested having a charity box in your desk or on your desk, and in the middle of the day, put your hand in the pocket, take out a quarter or something thereof, put it into the charity box just to simply capture a moment where you're not involved with you, but you're involved with something outside of you, something more noble than you. I mean, when you think about it in that way, every time we encounter another person, even if it's in a professional way, we could make it meaningful. I once heard a lawyer and who happened to also be a rabbi say the following. He says, when you're a lawyer, people that come to you by definition are people that need help. Because if they didn't need help, they wouldn't be coming to you. Most people, when they need help, means that they're uncomfortable. So you could be your professional demeanor as a lawyer. Sit down, sir, tell me how I could help you. And basically there's no warmth. Yes, there is professionalism, but there's no warmth. Or you could actually go out of your way and perhaps not charge him for the 2-3 minutes that it takes for you just to put him at ease, just to make him feel comfortable as a human being. Yes, you're the professional. Yes, he needs your help and your expertise. And by all means, charge him for what your professional time demands. But he's also a person. It's not a commodity. So even inside of your office and in the interview, you could bring a meaning into the profession. What is the meaning? I am hereby dedicating my knowledge to help a fellow human being. And that's a mitzvah. And then when you go home and you said, what'd you do today? Nothing special. What do you mean nothing special? You canceled, you helped, you enabled people in need to get to where they have to be going. And this is not only true about a lawyer, it's true about a shoemaker, it's true about a tailor, it's true about a plumber, it's true about an electrician, it's true about a rabbi, it's true about all people. So, the most exciting part of life is the meaningful part of life. Meaningful part of life is not synonymous with pleasures of life, though they can go together. Let me end with a very powerful, I believe it happened, but if not, it could have happened, with a very powerful story. They say that there was a prince who was captured by a neighboring tribe, and of course, being that he was a prince, they had a lot of respect for nobility. And besides, essentially, the fellows that had kidnapped him wanted to use him as a bargaining chip for the king. To get back his son, he would have to give up X amount of territory. Anyway, this negotiation went for 6 months. Obviously, the king tried every other possible way to get back his son. He offered money, he threatened war, but ultimately he had to give in. In the meantime, how was this prince being treated? Number one, with the indignity of being in a cell, but he was in a private cell. But that wasn't enough. They wanted to humiliate this boy. So what did they do? They actually dug through the wall a hole, and they stuck in a rod. And for 8 hours of the day, the job of this prisoner was to move the rod up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And ordinarily, it would make a person not only humiliate him, but actually make him go crazy. But this prince kept on saying to himself, it's not only is it temporary, but look what I'm accomplishing. Probably this is being connected to some type of an apparatus, which is maybe grinding corn, or maybe it's creating steam, or something like that. And during this time that he was doing this monotonous job of up and down, up and down, up and down, he was imagining all kinds of benefits that were happening. Well, he had lost weight, he was pale, he was depressed, and the good news came to him in 6 months that at the end of the 6 months he will be freed. When the big day came, he was let out, he was euphoric with joy, but had a strange request. He said, I would actually like to see the next cell. I would like to see what I was actually accomplishing. When they took him to the next cell, he took one quick look and he fell in a dead faint. What had happened? Actually, it was not connected to anything. So he then realized in a moment that he had spent 6 months doing a meaningless activity. It's powerful, friends. Look at your week, look at your month, heaven forbid, look at your life. Up and down, to work and back. Brush your teeth, up and down. Do what's right, pay your taxes, go to the ball game, up and down. What have you accomplished? Here's where we have the beauty of our Torah. Every day is filled with opportunities to fill it with meaning. Meaning means to connect the human to the divine, and the human to the human in order to please the divine. Well, I will not take your time any longer. We got work to do to bring meaning into our lives. Shalom.